Welcome to Work Hard, Play Harder, where cash flow is king. With Jake Hanes, this is where powerful ideas, real experiences, and game-changing strategies help you maximize cash flow and build unstoppable success. Now, let's dive right in.
All right. Hey, welcome to the podcast today. I've got an amazing guest on. You guys are going to love this guy named Stanley Daniels II. We're not talking about that. We're definitely not talking about what's on that boy's hat, but we are talking about Stanley Daniels and his past. So the sponsor today is Action Text, and today I'd like to share with you what is the way to truly become the niche in your market and to be the most successful in the thing that you do. And I shared that by sharing a pyramid that I learned from Chet Holmes in the book, The Ultimate Sales Machine, that he wrote, and some other great stuff that he did. And in this pyramid, he talks about there are 5 levels. And the first level is the generalist. And the generalist is kind of that guy who just does his work. He may be the technician, like in the book, The E-Myth Revisited. That's the first book you should read if you're involved with business. In this book, he talks about the technician who can do the work, who understands the work, who understands the basics, who's gotten familiar with the area. And this is the majority of people who are working, actually. And the specialist is the one who goes the extra steps and gets the certifications, who gets the skills and gets the potentially years of experience, starts to know how to do the problem. He's a recognized expert and in the work that he's doing. So he is someone who can be counted on to do it the right way, he or she. And the third level is an authority. Now, when a person is an authority, they start to become recognized as the go-to person for getting answers to how do you do this job? How do you become the best at this job? An authority is a person who has gotten so much experience that they start asking people to teach them. They may be a teacher, they may be a seller of a book, they may become a speaker, they may write many papers, like in the medical profession, people are expected to start writing papers all the time on the work that they have discovered, right? That is the authority is the one who is well known in this area and carries on with this. The celebrity is the person who is so well known, they are thought out, they are sought out for their experience. They can charge anything for their work. And this can be in so many different roles. It doesn't matter, in most cases, what your professional role is. You can reach a very high level and become a celebrity because you are so well known. So many people know you. You've done the marketing, you've done the research to grow, your experience in that area. You may do a podcast, you may be a national podcaster, you may have sold books and, multiple books and lots of papers. You may be on TV, you may be sharing this thing and everyone knows, hey, this lady, she knows what she is talking about. You get this, the book helps you in getting absolute recognition in this. And, the TV series that you do, or that you start being on different TV shows and giving your expert opinion and advice. And then that's basically the level that you would reach to make unlimited income or a lot of income. The celebrity authority is that top of the line, the best. They're the ones that educate everyone else at the top level. They're the guru's guru, as it says, the person who is once in a, there's like one in each industry. But the level that you should be shooting for is celebrity. And if you start to document everything that you can do, as I've shared this about how you can go up this ladder of success in whatever role you have, whether you're an employee, whether you are an owner of a business, it doesn't matter. You can climb this ladder and then gain more value per hour in what you do for work, no matter where it is. And that's the idea from the idea I want to share with you today from Action Tax Service. Okay, so with that, It's all about Stanley today, although I don't know if anyone wants to know too much about Stanley. If you know too much about Stanley, you're going to be in trouble. And the hat is not a good representative
A
of
great
what
hat, man.
Stanley is, because we hope that he has graduated from that.
It's a great hat. Yeah. And
Hey,
well, thanks for having me on. It's exciting to obviously anytime I get to, you know, talk shop with you or debate with you, even though I usually win,
you don't win ever. But
it's
just get the scoop.
always fun, you know. So yeah.
It is me, the one that's doing the interview, which means I must win these debates.
Well, thank God you get to win one, you know. So yeah. So yeah, thanks for having me. This is awesome.
There's something about Denver. I remember we were sitting with some of the greats up in the the little executive seating up there, and that was a lot of fun. I will say that was a sad game for Denver that day. I mean, I know the Seahawks would have clobbered them had we been there, but I don't even remember who they were playing. It was just a sad day, man. I
You
mean,
know,
maybe they lost their fame after you quit playing with them, right?
yeah, well, one, you know, anytime that the Broncos lose, it's definitely a sad day. So I can't, you know. Two, you know, you're talking about the family suite that we were in when we went to the Denver Bronco game together. It was awesome. We met some great people, and it was a great event. And three, you know, I wouldn't put the Seahawks and the Broncos in the same
Oh
category.
yeah, no, no. The Seahawks are here, and the
Historically,
Broncos.
numbers lie or numbers don't lie. People lie, like yourself when you talk about the rivalry there. Actually, it's not even a rivalry, but I mean, we won't talk about who has more championships or
In
history
some
of
time in
winning.
the past, they
Yeah,
were, an okay team, and then they got our
yeah,
damn quarterback. They got our quarterback, and it didn't
yeah.
help them. It
That's
didn't.
okay. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's okay. You know, it's
So
it,
you
you know.
played for them. You played for
I
them.
did. I was very fortunate to play for the Denver Broncos in 2010, 11, and prior to that, I was with the Jets, '08 and '09. Yeah, '08, '07, '08, '07, '08. Yep. So and the Packers '09. So but yeah, I was very fortunate to get to the NFL and to
I
be in
wonder
the
how
NFL
how do
programs.
they choose that? Do they just choose that based upon, I don't even want to say, definitely not looks. Looks,
Okay.
and
Oh, yeah.
definitely, not brawn. I'm
That's a little Braun.
Are
Yeah.
you gonna win our competition? Because it's getting close, and you got some weight to lose, bro.
To answer your first question, the way you get to the NFL is by being just one of the toughest, roughest, mean MFers possible on the football field, which is who I used to be. Which is why I laugh at you whenever you talk smack to me, because in my mind I'm like, I could probably put this guy in a literally in a can, like smash him in a can, and just.
Maybe back in the day.
But
Yeah, I just,
but that's my past life. But no, it was it's hard to get there, and it's I actually was undrafted out of the University of Washington, so I had to take the
see,
my
now that's
first.
another thing. I mean, okay,
Okay,
I
what?
UW has become my team. It used to be Eastern Wa, but not Eastern Wa, but Wazoo. And now,
Oh,
I mean, you have definitely converted me. I love UW. They're a great conference, great
awesome.
team, great group. Yeah,
You know,
you
it's
converted me.
just basically this just you're just a smart guy, right? We all know that. So, maybe it took you a little longer to, come to the right side, but you're just a smart man. You know what I mean? It makes sense. But yeah, go Huskies, but yeah, I went undrafted. I had to essentially like, try walk on to the New York Jets, the first team I was on, and my first team meeting, they didn't let me sit. None of the older guys, the vets, would let me sit in the chair. So my first team meeting was on the side next to the trash can, and the head coach came and was like, "Is Daniels in here?" And I was like, "Here." from the floor. But from that experience and working my way up to staying on that team and getting that opportunity, it teaches you a lot and you learn a lot, and a lot of those same things that I learned and has translated to what me and you do now. So
Thanks. I remember you talking about how uh, professional sports like that, they really are finding the best of the best of the best 1%. And then
yep.
they bring them in. I remember you talking about that. They start you off at like ground -10,
Yeah.
and they mold you,
Yeah.
and I mean, I remember talking about your diet, I mean, no, you don't have that diet now, but back in the
No,
day,
no need to now.
but
I'm not
they even said, I remember they said something about that you had to have a weight of what was it? It was 280.
Yeah, you have an assigned weight. Every player has an
Yeah.
assigned weight. So my assigned weight was 318 with the Broncos.
And I mean, that's where you were. And they just
I
decided that based upon your frame and your
Yep.
body, that's
And
where
I
you
moved.
were.
Yep. 318. Yeah, I had to be 318 and you get fined $500 per pound per day if you miss your weight. So I never ever missed my weight. So, and they do that, and to your point, like, high school players, the top 1% of high school players go Division One. So everybody there in D1 is in the 1% of high school players. And then the top 1% of the Division One college players get to the NFL. And then the top 1% of that 1% stay longer than 3 years.
Ooh.
So literally getting to the NFL puts you in the top 1% globally, of athletes. Staying there puts you in an upper echelon past 3 years. So I was fortunate enough to be in the NFL for multiple years. I was, multiple teams, and it's a true blessing. Now that diet you're talking about,
Yeah.
it's really hard to maintain 318 pounds for big guys, right? Obviously, it's easy for us to eat a sandwich and jump to 320 just like that. So, yes. However, I'm not blocking for any quarterbacks as of late, even though I would love to lend my services to terrible teams like, that's not what our podcast is about. Sorry. Yeah, our episode's not about how other terrible teams. So.
Yeah, there are a lot of terrible teams, but and maybe if one day if you got recruited to go, maybe help coach with the Hawks, you'd be in the upper 1% echelon of the
Ooh.
best coaches ever, like a Pete Carroll, right?
Coaching is a different ball game, but I would, if ever given the opportunity to coach for the Seahawks, I would 100% jump on that. That's a awesome organization, great head coach and GM, and yeah, coaching's fun now because you get to really like teach the young guys all the things that are in your brain that you've learned and accumulated over time, and then get to see them go put it out there on the field. So that's awesome. Well, that'd be awesome. We'll see if that's in the cards for me. I don't know.
Mhm. So you finished, how many years of pro did you play?
So I was in 2007. My last stint was 2012 with the Browns. I did not make that team. So, but the
Mhm.
years that I got to play, I was oh 07, oh 07, oh 08 with the New York Jets, oh 09 with the Packers, 2010 with the Broncos. I actually got to play and start with the Broncos. And then 11 had a big major injury that took me out that year. And then 2012 did not make the team with the Browns, came back to Seattle and immediately got into sales.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you really skyrocketed in sales. What did you I remember you telling me a little bit about the format for doing some Comcast sales, right?
Yeah, no. So we actually I worked for a company that did all of the sales for CenturyLink here locally in Seattle. So remember CenturyLink came in and they bought the rights to Seahawks Stadium.
Mhm.
and they launched, and they were like the main competitor to Xfinity. And the team that I worked for, we were responsible for saturating the Seattle market with CenturyLink so that they could launch and go live with their products. So I was on that team that was in charge of that. So, and then later on, I was able to open my own sales company, going, face to face, door to door, and then later business to business, B2B sales for AT&T. And then I also had a contract with T-Mobile here locally in Seattle.
There's no question, door-to-door sales are hard.
Yes.
That's one of the hardest roles there are in
Yes.
business, but it can also be one of the most rewarding, right? Um,
Absolutely. Yeah. It's one of those things that nobody wants to do. But if you listen to a lot of multimillionaires and billionaires, a lot of them got their start going door to door, right? Mark Cuban talks about how he got his start going door to door. I believe the 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 owner of the tequila brand, I forgot the big tequila brand that first came out, but I think it was Paul Mitchell, the guy that has all the hair care products. He started off selling, I think, dictionaries door to door or typewriters door to door. And
uh,
what happens is you learn how to communicate effectively with people. You learn how to understand and read body language and communication. People say most communications, nonverbal, right? And it's hard to pick up on those cues and read how people are feeling. You learn how to mirror people's energy and truly get your message across, and then ultimately you learn how to close and accomplish and achieve what you're trying to achieve when you do door-to-door sales and face-to-face sales. And it was extremely beneficial to me for sure.
I'm surprised that you never mirrored my energy. I mean, come on, man.
I always mirror your energy.
I don't know about that. I mean, you ain't got my energy. You're kind of like, oh, mellow Joe, you know.
I don't know. I feel like if you were to watch this podcast back, you would see a whole ton of mirroring going on. But it just happens naturally for me. But yeah, it's that sales I'd recommend to anybody, just even when you're just starting, or even if you have no sales, go do a sales job for a summer or something, just so you can learn how to communicate and how to understand that. There's two different kinds of no's. There's an emotional no, there's a logical no, and there's ways to respond to both. And it was very valuable to me for the future. And in doing what we do now, it's even more, useful. So
When you were
yeah.
managing these staff, did you meet with them like every single day? Did you do a little bit of training all the time, or weekly, monthly? What did you do?
Yeah, so we had a morning meeting every single morning where we would go over the numbers that we did the day before. We would go over and practice all of the sales skills, scripts, and tactics that we use to communicate what we were selling. We would go over product knowledge constantly, just to make sure that the newer team members were up to speed with the older team members. And then also a big part of team building is learning how to coach people through people. So I would really focus on the older guys and senior reps that I had and training them how to teach the new guys about what we do and how we do it. And that's how you develop a team, right? You're constantly teaching the product, but now I'm going to teach these guys how to train these guys and make sure that the curriculum is where it needs to be for us to be successful and hit our goals as an office. So every morning we would have our meetings, goals. We go through all of our tactics and things that we're going to do and scripts and all the stuff that we're going to practice. And then, we'd have one last meeting before we hit the field and went to our appointments, whether it be for face to face, door to door, or whether it was business to business. You had some guys that were in suits, full suits, that were going business to business to talk to the CEOs or someone like yourself. You imagine a young, sharp young lady or young man walking into your office in a suit saying, I need to speak to the owner. And how do you get past the gatekeeper at the front desk and get them to let you actually speak to the CEO in the back. And that's a skill in itself. And we did that every single
What are
day.
some of the things you would do? I mean, what are just one or two tidbits of information, like to get them to get beyond the gatekeeper? That's gotta be a very hard. Lot of rejection.
It's definitely tough, right? So the first thing I always tell people is when you first meet someone, it all starts off with that initial interaction, right? So if I can get you to smile before I say a word, and if I can get you to obviously smile before I say a word, but also like, laugh at, the first, words that come out of my mouth, I've 90% of the battle is already done, right? So I'd always start off with a real big smile because naturally, if I smile at you, Jake, you're naturally going to smile back at me, even though what are you smiling for, right? I just smiled at you. And usually start off with a great icebreaker, right? To start the interaction. Then the next thing you need to do is qualify yourself as soon as possible, right? So my guys would walk into your office. Hey, how you doing? Oh my God, my name's Stanley. And now that big smile comes out, and now they're smiling back at me. Oh, hi, Stanley, right? And I'd say, man, this rain is it's raining cats and dogs out there, and I'm allergic to cats, right? And then you'd laugh and go, oh wow,
Yeah.
it is raining. So now all the tension of why are you here in a suit? All that tension's gone, right?
Yeah.
And now I qualify myself, hey, I'm here from this big company. We represent this big company, and I need to speak to the CEO as soon as possible. Can is it possible to speak to him now, right? And we'd have our scripts and all those things, and then from there, you'd have to overcome all the objections that they're going to give you. Oh, he's busy. Oh, he's on a call. Oh, he's this. Oh, he's that. He's at a Seahawk game, losing to the 49ers. Whatever it may be, you have to overcome those objections and hopefully get to the CEO. And then, it's a script. But initially, if you took anything from that, it's just that first interaction, qualifying yourself, and then once you get to the CEO, making sure that you don't waste his time and cut to the chase. And
Well, you ruined it all already. I mean, you already dissed on him, man. You told him that the Seahawks suck, man. That's like
I
the
didn't
worst
tell
thing
him.
you could say to him.
I would never tell him now. I'd let him sit in his pants that he wore that day. But and then the ultimate piece of it is just adding value. If any CEO, any smart owner, if they realize that you have something that can add value to their business or add value to their bottom dollar, they're gonna be interested in it. So those are the general top keys that we use to be successful.
Well, that's cool. That's great. So you went from there. We actually started working together, and you came in and talked about the kind of stuff that you do, and I have been doing, and we ended up joining forces on projects, and
Yeah,
now we go do flips. And
yeah.
this is when we're flipping a home, where we'll buy the home and we'll spend some money on it and get it into make it something beautiful and attractive for the buyer,
Yeah.
and flip it and
Yep.
do another one.
Yeah. And I'll speak to that when of me and you meeting. The biggest key that anyone hearing, I want them to hear is that whenever you are trying to achieve a goal or do something new or do something big, there's a couple key crucial things that you have to do, right? And one of them is be prepared, right? The other one is make sure that you are full of enthusiasm, right, and excitement, and then also make sure that you do not waste time when you have the opportunity to speak to anyone that can help you or guide you in the right way, right? So I'll speak to when we first met, Jake. So I was referred to you because I needed to get my taxes done and get my taxes in order. And obviously, Action Tax has a very, very reputable name in the state of Washington. And several people referred me to you specifically. And when I went into your office, I demanded only to speak to you because they tried to pass me to a couple other of
Oh
the
yeah.
people work there. And I said, no, no, no. I need to speak directly to Jake Hanes. I don't know who this guy is, but I need to speak to him. Well, he's quite busy. I said, well, schedule me, and that's when we'll do it. So, but I remember when we met and we did our taxes, just in your normal conversation, you said, well, hey, Stan, what are you going to be doing? With this business you're talking about starting, like, what are you going to do? And I said, well, and this is where the preparation comes. I said, well, I want to start flipping houses. And I had no idea that you were a real estate investor yourself. And you said, okay, you want to start flipping houses? And I said, yeah, I want to start flipping houses. And, I'm going to take this money that I had. I had a big chunk. I think I had like 65 grand. I'm going to take this chunk and I'm going to go find a house in this price point. And I remember I had a full notepad, bullet point all the way down of the plan, price point, interest rates, how much I was going to have to put down for the renovation, the loan companies I was going to. I had a full plan. And you said, oh, it's interesting. Let me see that. And I literally handed you my phone and you took it and you said, okay, all right. Yeah, that's right. That looks right. You said, oh, interesting. Okay. And then we kept going throughout doing our taxes. And then right when I was walking out of the office, you said, Stan, yeah, come back for a second. Let me talk to you real quick. Just come back in, close the door. And I said, okay, no problem. And I sat down and you said, I'm thinking about it. Those loan companies you're going to go to, they are going to charge you an arm and a leg. Okay. It's your first time. You know what? Don't worry about that. I'm going to invest with you. I'm going to be your investor. And I said, what? Excuse me? Right? And that was the genesis of us doing our first deal together. But the reason why, and you can speak to this, I believe, is I walked in and I was very enthusiastic. I had a great plan. I was extremely prepared. I had every single bullet point dollar down to the last dollar and penny planned, and I was ready to go. And when with all those things there, right? You saw that and you said, you know what? Nah, I can't let him go get murdered by that bank. So, those things allowed that to happen. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And it was a genesis for you and I,
yeah,
and you'll learn with every single project. You'll learn new things, right?
yeah,
I'd done a lot before. I've done a lot with you. I do some with others, and we have investment. We have teams that do this work, and
yep.
tell me a little bit about the team that we now have.
Awesome. So right now we have about four real estate agents that we primarily use.
I've got a contention to that, but we'll talk about that off the air.
Four primary real estate.
I don't know what's up with that crap, but these real estate agents are not my clients. So I'm just going to tell you right now, they're not my clients, and it pisses me off. And you
Four.
do this, and you got to fix this shit. You got to fix
Well,
it because they're not my clients, and I
we
work
have
with all the real estate agents everywhere.
four primary real estate agents that we use for our projects, right? All throughout the state. Each one of them is one of the most, high earning elite real estate agents in the state of Washington.
I'm sure
Um,
they're not saving enough on taxes, but yeah, they might be
you
decent.
know what? I think when this podcast airs, maybe we can point them in your direction, right? To your sponsor, Action Tax.
Yes.
Um, but in addition to the agents, we have a team of I'd say about four solid wholesalers, right? That are in constant communication and flow with us to find us new deals. And then we have a set GC that we work with on all of our flips. And then we also have a set buyer or
GC being,
general contractor
yep.
that we work with for all of our flips. And then also we have a builder that we primarily work with for all of our new construction. Right now we have our first new construction that's about 75% done. And we have another new construction that's going to start in about 3 months. So,
Yeah,
um,
I actually just personally have not gotten involved in the new construction market,
yeah.
but the particular offer that we had there
Mhm.
presented itself because in the local area of Seattle,
Yep.
they changed the zoning and
Uh-huh.
they allowed you to build two units on one lot.
Correct.
And so that just presented itself with an opportunity to build a second unit because we've done, a large number of flips, but we had not done new construction. And I
Yeah.
hope this proves out real well. This will be
Oh,
interesting.
absolutely. And I can speak to that finishing off our team. We have about three lenders that we have worked with and continue to work with. And then, the other back end of the team is those people that I consider advisors or mentors, that are mortgage brokers, and other real estate professionals that kind of help us
Yeah,
in
we got to get Keen on our broadcast.
yeah, Keen. Yeah, Keen Ing is one of our
Yeah.
essential team members that's helped me, and he helped several people. But he's really, helped me and helped myself and Elin, really, really like find different opportunities that me and you have jumped on that have allowed us to find great deals. Like the deal you just mentioned,
Mhm.
in Kirkland, we were able to find a lot, utilize the new rules that allow us to condo a lot into two parcels, or not two parcels, but you just have one property with two separate condos on it. And then the back yard, which we turned into a with condo unit two, or unit B, and now we're building a new construction dado on it. So that was an opportunity that was awesome. And without great people on our team like Keen, it would have been, it would have been hard to find. So
What's nice is that when you work with the right individuals, they can do a lot of the work for you. They can do the groundwork and they can tell you on the front end because I know when you come with another proposal, you've already got some information in place like this is what we can anticipate selling the
yeah,
completed house when we do X, Y, and Z to it, right?
correct. Yeah,
But there is
absolutely.
one huge focus that we're all about, and that is it is always in the buy, right? It is
Correct.
everything is one in the purchase. And so we see a lot of deals. Some of them we might have made twice as much money if we'd gone into them, right? But
Sure.
we're focused on the buy. It's
Correct.
all in the purchase. It's in the
Correct.
smart purchase of the property that things can go right or wrong and a lot better.
Correct. Yeah.
Speaking of that,
That
speaking of
saying,
that,
yeah, you make your money. People, I learned that early with from you and a lot of other people. But yeah, you make your money when you make your money with the purchase, right? Meaning for all the people listening, meaning that you've done your full due diligence, you've ran all the numbers, you have cross-referenced the after renovation value of a property that you're going to be renovating or developing, and based on all of that research, you know that if I buy it, I can only spend up to this point, right? And I will not go any higher than that point to make sure that my profit is predictable and also the right margin and number that myself and my partner Jake want it to be, right? And that all happens in the purchase in the beginning. So yeah.
it's been uh, it's been fun and most every time it's been rewarding and good to do these projects with
Yep.
you and to team up with our GH Investors business and do these.
Yep.
There's a lot of players involved and we're not the only ones making money. The
Oh,
we want to make it a win-win-win. We want
correct.
the my real estate agents to make money, and we want and
Yep.
we want to make all of the contractors and parties involved with that make money, and we
Yep.
want to make money, and we want to have a good finished, beautiful structured home for
Yep.
the buyer who now is imagine how many homes that we've done, dozens, and they're living in more comfort and more stability because of what we've done to make a beautiful place.
Yeah, it's very for me it's really an awesome feeling to go through a project, do it the right way, obviously make money, but like you said, when you put out a good product that you know that another family is going to enjoy, that's very fulfilling. It's pretty awesome. The full, when you go through the full scope and spectrum of, the a project and who eats off of a project, how many people eat. It's not just me and you know what I mean? So it's
But
been
it
fun.
is,
Yeah.
there's a lot of there. It's wrought with, many challenges along the
Oh
way.
yeah.
What are some of the challenges that you've had just in like the last, few months of, that you've been dealing with?
I would say, adjusting to adversity, right? Like, people always want to people talk about going to being a real estate investor or going to the NFL or doing all these cool things, but they only really see like the Sunday finished product, right? They only really see the house you sold and, oh, how much money did you make? But what they don't tell you about are the things that pop up mid-project that can easily derail a project, right? Like, so I'd say adversity in the projects that we've been going through. For example, we had a foundation issue pop up on a project completely unforeseen that was quite challenging, right? And me and Jake had a couple heated conversations with the other side. But
Yeah.
ultimately, what led to me being able to squash that problem and get past it is I met with the other party in person, and we had coffee and some croissants, and we sat and looked eyeball to eyeball. And that in that conversation, right, we were able to meet on the same page, be on the same page, and we ultimately.
I still say you caved in, man. You so caved on that thing, man. If you would have just let me carry on with it, man,
No,
we'd have made
no,
more
no.
money and we'd
No,
have
I'm
done
the
it
I'm
right
the
damn
I'm
way.
the sales expert. You're the tax expert, okay? All right. So let me do my part, right? And ultimately, that's what ended up happening, right? I was able to negotiate and kind of explain the situation to the other party, and we were able to meet on the same page, got it done. And I think the next day after our heated conversation that we had, and it worked out. But I would say adversity. I would say really, really, you know being diligent about managing the timelines and budgets. That part is hard. A lot of people don't understand how much that impacts projects. And then also just communicating with, your GC and making sure that you guys are on the same page of what you want what the product has to be for us to sell it where we want it to sell. So those are some of the things that pop up as of late. But to your point, early on we made or I would say made a lot of errors and mistakes that you kind of grow from quickly. And it's been very beneficial having you as a partner because you've already gone through a lot of these things prior. It was funny. I remember I'd come to you and go, Jake, this happened and I don't know what to do. And you'd go, well, this happened to me back in 1942.
Wait a second.
Oh, sorry. My bad. This happened to me, a couple years ago, and I did A, B, C, and D, right?
And
And
now, thank you for listening to our episode.
but yeah, you were able to guide me through, well, do this, don't do that, do this, call this, and how, and you were able to guide me through that, through my process and just starting off back in 2020 when we began. But yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, it's been fun. It has been wrought with challenges, and being in a partnership absolutely sucks. In my book, The Seven Strategies of Highly Successful Business Owners, I
Yep.
one of my chapters is dedicated to partnerships, and the opening line is basically 100% of all partnerships fail. And I've worked with so many partnerships in their failing stages, and it is hard and it is challenging. But
Yep.
in the book, once I state that, I also state that if we put some things in place, right? It doesn't even need to be, so to speak, official by an attorney, put in place and signed, but we just get some things in place about exactly how we're going to work together,
Yep.
exactly what we're going to do if X happens, if Y happens, if Z
Yep.
happens, right? And if we define our project, right? Like, Stanley and I could have had so many issues about how does Stanley get paid and I get paid, right? But
Yep.
we're clear on the front end. Even
Yep.
even on my yellow sticky note, it
Yeah. Oh yeah.
points out exactly. It says this is
Yep.
how we will share the profits. This is
That's
how
right.
we will treat these issues. This is how
Right.
you'll be compensated in the process. All that stuff, right?
Yep.
So the
Yep.
better you have a structure for identifying, how to make a strong partnership, the
Yep.
more likely you are to not fail in a partnership. And if you do start to fail in a partnership, then immediately step back and take your emotions out of it and
Hmm.
have a third party intermediary, such as myself, a business coach, or an attorney, come in and say, let's get these things clear, real
Yep.
clear on paper. And
Yep.
then, if we can, we work through them and we dissolve in an effective way, or we work through and we continue on in the partnership.
Correct. Yeah, and I'd say also the biggest thing is another key to it is not being afraid, right? Don't be afraid of the communication or the hard conversations, right? There's times where I'll be talking to Jake and Elin will be in the other room and she'll run out the room like, "Oh my God, I'm so nervous. I'm so scared." I'm like, "Why?" And she's like, "Do you hear Jake's tone?" And I go, "Yeah, I hear his tone, but I'm not scared, right?" Well, one, because he's just a little tweak, I could flick him across the room. But the other piece of it is to your point, it's you have to take the emotion out of it and communicate so that you make sure you're on the same page. And if there's a question, I learned this in sales too. Most of the time, whenever someone says no, all that really means is that they have an unanswered question. And they're saying no because of an unanswered question. And most of the time, people won't ask that question. They're scared to ask it. And so they'll just say, no, no. So unless you dig deeper, right, and try to figure out what is that unanswered question, or in our case, what is the piece of communication or information that we're on the same page about. Once we get locked in, we're not discombobulated, then it's like, oh, and then now, we're able to move on or move to the next thing. So yeah, it's just communication. Don't be scared to have those conversations. Even if your business partner is like 5'5", 165 with a bark
Wait a
of a
second.
giant Rottweiler.
I'm I'm losing weight right now, and I was at 176, fat man, and now I'm down to I've just broke the 160 for the first time this morning. I'm
Wow.
I'm getting very close to my ideal weight because
Yeah.
I'm gonna go have some fun working, doing some major things that we'll talk about in a minute. But
Oh wow.
so where's Stanley these days?
I'm in Bellevue, Washington.
And
Is
how
that
much
what
do you
you're
weigh,
referring to?
Stanley?
Is that what you're referring to?
No, no, I'm referring to
Oh,
where do you stand as far as weight? What's your weight, my brother?
my weight. So whenever it comes to weight,
Uh-huh.
I like to lift bench press and dumbbells.
He
Those are
won't.
the
We have
weights.
a we have this little tiny weight competition going on, and he has to get to a certain weight, and if he
Do
does,
you
he
know the weight? Do you know
gets
the
a
weight?
nice
Do you have the
prize.
sticky weight? What's the weight on the sticky note? Where is it?
I do have my little yellow sticky note. I think it was 310.
Okay.
I think I can look
Okay.
at it. We got the notes right.
What's the date? What's the date? What's the date?
That I don't remember. But what is it?
It's April 30th.
Oh, this is good. See, so I'm going to make some money. So, because he ain't going to make his weight. This is going to be good.
This
This is
guy,
going to
man,
be good. You ain't
he's just.
making your weight. I'm going to get some money. See, last time he lost too. He lost. I got paid.
I won the first one.
You,
Jake
you
won the
might have
second.
won the first one, but you lost the second one, and
I
you
won the
lose the third
first one. I lost the second one, but the
and you lose
third
the
one,
third.
the trilogy. Everybody always comes back for the trilogy. Okay, first and the second. Okay, we're 1-1. All right, who's gonna tie break? All right.
That'd be me. I'm
Okay,
gonna break it up right there.
we'll see. We'll see. I got something. I got something planned for this. So,
Well, this is
but
good because once he gets down to that weight, he's going to be able to start snow skiing with us because
Never.
you want to start skiing is, I mean, it's funner than hell, man. There is a lot of fun. You got to do it,
No,
bro.
absolutely not.
But this is where it gets really good. I go scuba diving all over the world, and Stanley has already told me. He said
Absolutely.
years ago, he says,
Oh,
yes, I'll go scuba diving if I lose
never,
weight. And so
never.
this little boy is going
That's
to get
never.
in is going to get in
Absolutely
his
not.
scuba gear,
Never,
and he's
never,
going to start scuba diving with me all
never.
over wherever we go, all the time.
Absolutely
Scuba
not. I
diving.
tell Jake this, and I want everyone listening to this now or in the future. If Jake ever asks you to go scuba diving,
Ah, no.
make make sure that you consider a couple things, okay? One, how do you look in a wetsuit? Okay. Because me at 6'5", over 300 pounds, if I put on a wetsuit, I instantly look like a giant seal, okay?
I don't think so.
You put a black wetsuit on me in the ocean, I look like a big seal. And guess what? You know what the favorite food of a shark is? Seal. They actually love seals,
The
okay?
killer whales will just take you and
Well,
they'll
they'll
just
just bite your leg off and just chomp you around and come around for another pass and finish you off. And then, no. So Jake wants me to put on a wetsuit and make me look like a giant, juicy seal in the middle of the ocean so that if a shark comes, he can escape. That's what he wants. He wants me to come as insurance so he can escape from the shark attack, which I pass. I will not be there. Okay. So now I've volunteered several times. I will be on the boat and I will be quality control. I'll make sure everybody gets if we have 5 divers in, I'll make sure 5 divers come back. I'll
so
make
you're
sure
saying you're coming in after us if we don't come back? Oh, this good. This good.
no, not at
All you
all.
got to
Not
do
at
is get
all.
you just got to get your
I'll,
instructor
no,
certification, bro.
I'll make sure I pull the line or whatever you guys connect to or tethered to down there. I'll make sure that, we don't leave you in the ocean and, I'll be quality control on the boat. Okay.
Uh,
But I'm not scuba diving.
I
Although
think okay. This is what I think you should do. I think that you should go wing walking with me.
I 100,000% would love to never go wing walking with you. It's never
I
happening.
think it's the funnest damn thing. It is the most amazing
Just,
thing ever. It is
let's
like
just talk it out.
so
Let's talk it out,
cool.
Jake. So correct me if I'm wrong. So you get on this plane,
Yeah.
okay? And this is a plane that was created in like the 50s, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So it's a
It's a
plane that's
cool
been,
plane. You got to
it's
look
a
it up. You got to
plane.
look it up. Wing walking in Washington State. It
What kind of
is
plane is it? Do you know what kind of plane it is?
it's a biplane.
Okay. This is a plane that's been decommissioned. Okay. And it's not even used anymore for commercial flights. Okay. No one uses this plane. All right. Okay. Okay. So stay there. All right. Number two, you guys fly up into the air
Yeah.
and then you unbuckle yourself,
Yeah.
climb out onto the wing
Yes.
while you're flying. Somehow the air doesn't throw you off to a death drop, okay? You clip yourself on, stand up, and then tell the pilot to do lots of loop-de-loops. Is that
That's
right?
right. Yes.
I
Summer big old loops in the sky and jackknives. Oh, I'm telling you, it is
no,
amazing.
never. You'll never catch me there. I'll wait for you when you land, and I will give you a high five when you head out. I got you. No problem.
I think
But you know what I am looking forward to doing with you is I'm looking forward to climbing some mountains. I really
that's
do.
right.
I really love the fact that you have climbed so many mountains and seen so many summits,
Mm.
and that part is cool. And that's been one of the motivating forces for me. And that's why Jake has always challenged me in these weight loss challenges, because obviously it's really frowned upon to climb up a mountain when you're 400 pounds, right?
Oh, is that where you're at right now? That's where
Absolutely not.
that's where you're at right now?
Absolutely not. But
Do I have some inside
but
information now?
no, absolutely not. But imagine that. You're halfway up Mount Rainier at 400 pounds. The atmosphere changes, and all of a sudden you have
We just
a
kind of cuddle
event.
around you and keep ourselves warm.
Yeah, all you guys would do is literally like use me as a body warmer, and probably you guys probably leave me and keep hiking. Drag me on the way down when you guys hit the summit and come back. Let's drag Stan down, because no one could get up there fast enough to help you. But yeah, I look forward to climbing some mountains with you. I really love the fact that you do that. You travel all over the world to climb some mountains, and you've climbed some cool mountains, and I know you got some stuff scheduled too
Yeah,
to
yeah, we're gonna
to
go.
summit.
We're gonna climb a few mountains this year in the United States, working on climbing the highest peak in the lower 49 states, and that's just
Wow.
a kicking ton of fun. And
Yeah.
but I know you do. We go cycling every other year. So we did the Seattle to Portland bike trip.
Yep.
It's only 207 miles,
Hmm.
and
Only.
you can do it. You should
Only. Yeah.
look. All these wonderful ladies went out that had like not even done anything before, and they got ready. We got ready. We cycled longer and
Yeah.
longer and longer trips, and longer
Yeah.
trips, and then we went and we had 2 full days of fun. There was like a dozen of us. We went down to Centralia and stayed the night. Had a great time. Hot
Yeah.
tub,
Yeah.
sauna, and a masseuse there, and
Yeah.
great food
Yeah.
delivered. A good night's sleep, and then we went and did day two. Went down
Yeah.
in Portland. It was incredible. That's what you should.
And honestly, it sounds awesome. I promise you. It's just, I don't know if they make bikes for people over 400 pounds to then travel 200 miles for fun. I don't know, I just don't know if that's recommended by most heart doctors and cardiologists. But either way, my goal for this year, 2025, by December 31st, my goal weight is to be 250 pounds. And at that weight,
Are we setting a new bet
are
after
you
you lose the one in April?
are you trying to jump in on this right now?
This
Because
is getting good.
this
I'm gonna
this
make
is
some more
gonna
money.
12/31/25,
Okay.
the last day of the year.
And hey,
Uh,
man,
I will
you're telling the world now. Get
I
ready
will
for
be
this.
jumping on a scale, and my weight will be 250. So that is the challenge for this year, 2025. So yeah, it's going down, right? But the reason why I set that weight is for multiple reasons. Obviously you want to live longer. I have two sets of twins and an older son. But also I want to do cool stuff with Jake. There's a lot of stuff that Jake does, and I'm just like, man, I'm probably not going to scuba dive or wing walk, but I would love to do this bike trip you do from Seattle to Portland. I'd love to climb mountains with you and see all the cool summits and all the cool hikes and nature walks that you guys go on. That stuff's really cool. You know what I mean? And you have to be at a healthy weight to do stuff like that.
You also
Uh,
have to be at a healthy weight if you're at an opposing game, like maybe the 49ers, and 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 you, and you like to dance, and so you're walking away from the stadium, and all of a sudden there's all this great music playing, kind of
wow.
off the beaten
Wow.
path a little bit, and
Wow.
so like a squirrel, you go over this way, and there's like
Yeah.
40,000 red coats, and then there's the blue coat, right?
Wow,
And so
man.
I went in with the
Guy.
40,000 red coats, and
Yeah.
had a royal blast.
Yeah, we should probably just tell the people what we're talking about. So this guy, okay, we go to a Niner game in San Francisco. The Seahawks lose, okay. And
Wait, that doesn't have anything to do with the story. Pass it on. Come on, keep
oh,
going.
oh, oh, sorry, my bad, my bad, my
Yeah, yeah,
bad.
yeah,
Sorry
yeah,
about
yeah.
that. Sorry about that. My bad. So the Seahawks lose. So as we're leaving the stadium, Jake sees, I don't know if you've ever been to the 49er game, but they actually party in the parking lot, like huge DJs and party. So there's literally a big circle, a DJ, and about, I don't know, 40 cars. There's probably about 600 people, not exaggerating. And they're in a circle and they're dancing and drinking and hanging out. And Jake goes, you know what? I want to dance. And I go, Jake, like that's not you got the wrong, you wearing Seahawks, like we should just go. We're in California. Like, stop, bro. No, 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 no. I'm going. I got this. Dude runs into the middle of the circle, mid-song, looks at everybody, and goes, yeah, 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 and just starts going ham. So I'm sitting there like, sorry, sorry. But after a while, they actually started rooting for him, cheering for him, turning the song music up. I think somebody tried to hand you a beer or something like that. You were like, get that away from me. I just want to dance. It was awesome, man. So this guy is definitely the life of the party, which again is why I want to get my weight down so that I can, and go on these excursions with you. It's pretty fun.
It's cool. We're going to set that bet. We're going to do this again. We're going to have another one, and we're going to set that bet for the end of the year so I can make some more money. I'm enjoying it.
You know what? I'm always down to take your money. So, you want some action, you got it, pal.
You know what you missed? You missed out on our New Year's party, man. It was
You know what? I did. You guys, that's another great thing that you should speak about is that you actually do a ton of awesome events at your house. It's a giant property, obviously, but you do a lot of events there, and they're awesome,
yeah.
awesome events, right?
This time
And
we had like about 80 couples at the house, and we had
yeah,
several amazing musicians come and play at our piano and
yeah,
also the violin and they like little kids like I think he was like 10 years old
yeah,
was playing on the piano, amazing piece.
that's
And then
awesome.
this lady comes in and she literally goes to town on this piano. And then she says, you know what? I just want to do it off the cuff. Let's just not even have music or a plan. Let me just put together something to play. And she did
Wow.
this again and she played for us. And it was positively stunning. We had a great, powerful New Year's,
Yeah.
celebration with all the music and the fun and the TV and the entertainment and the
Yeah.
drinks and the resolutions. It was good. It was a lot of
So,
fun.
so Jake, question for you. So speak to that, like, obviously everyone has their goals in life, their financial goals,
Yeah.
house goals and stuff like that. But like, what are like some of the things that, that you did or that goals that you set that allowed you to get a property like that? Because that's an awesome property. And then the second question is, why do you really enjoy throwing the parties that you throw? You know what I mean? Because they're not just like, hey, come kick it. It's like full,
Oh, yeah.
200 people. We're cooking. There's music. It's coordinated, and you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
yeah. So like, first question, like goals that you set to really get to a point where you can do that
Mm.
and have a property like that, but also like, and then your why. Why do you do events
Well,
like
so
that?
I do the party thing and I cook because, as you well know, you've never had a better steak, filet mignon.
You know, I
Even when we went to that double eagle
no,
weird
no, no,
place
no, no,
over
no,
in
no,
in
no.
in with the Broncos where
Stop
we're
it.
in Denver, that was like that was
Stop.
like subpar,
Stop it. Stop it.
subpar. And I was like double bird, double eagle, man. I mean, my food was up there, and everyone.
You're talking about Del Frisco's, the best steakhouse in Denver, possibly the country. Knock it off, okay? Knock it off. All right, I'm pretty sure that we have a lot of corroborated witnesses that will say that was probably the best steak they've ever had. But anyways, your filet, I'll give you
Another
credit
another story for another day.
another day. But I'll give you credit. Your filet is awesome. I'll give you that. So, but yeah,
It's a lot of fun getting people together and giving the people the environment that's safe and fun and enjoyable with and meeting new people and all that stuff. And
yeah,
so we put that together all the time. Been doing it for years. And then we talk about the goals and everyone gets to kind of throw out there what's their New Year's resolution. I actually for the last 30 plus years have been setting completing five New Year's resolutions, or you can call them annual goals every single year. So I
wow.
set more than five, maybe 10, but
Hmm.
I have consistently every single year completed five goals every year. And
Wow.
and they get more and more challenging. I just recently set the goals for this year, and I'm like, wow, if I complete all these five goals, I will have really, amplified
Yeah.
my game. And they all kind of go in line with my vision and my short and long term
Yeah.
goals that stretch for many, many years,
Yeah.
and my 100 New Year's or my 100 lifetime goals
Mhm.
and my company goals and the vision for that. So they
Yep.
all kind of fall into place. And ultimately, those five goals are what keep me going daily.
So if I'm hearing you right, it's more so like it's of course setting the goals,
Mhm.
right? I heard you say that the goals are kind of challenging goals, right?
Oh, yeah.
But also you actually complete at least five of these goals every single year, and you've been doing that for quite a while.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's allowed you to get to a point of success where you can have a property like that.
Yeah.
It's an awesome property too. It really is. There's you guys have a theater in that thing. Man, that kitchen is world class. The I love the outdoor space, and the crown jewel of the whole property is the pool that's actually a giant hot tub.
It is. Yeah.
It's a pool, but it's actually just a really giant laptop or hot tub that heats. It gets heated up. So I love it. Yeah, I remember one of the first times that I actually me and you got to talk about goals. You were very, very precise in the goals that you set, right? They're very intentional goals, challenging, but they had a purpose, right? Like for example, I remember you told me, I'm going to grow my business by 15% next year. And I said, why? And you go, well, if I, from where we're doing now, if I were to go up just 15%, this would allow me to net this, and then I'd be able to do this with the business and probably hire this many more people, which would bring in this much more revenue for the year after. And I remember it was so intentional how you set your goals. How did you get to that type of goal setting? Like, where did you learn that from?
Yeah, I set goals when I was 17 years old. I set my 100 lifetime goals, and I've got about 70 of them complete now. Uh,
Wow.
that was the start of it. But working with a business coach, that Kevin with Action Coach, he really helped me fine tune goal settings in what's called a SMART format. You should look it up.
Yes. Smart
SMART,
goal. Yep.
right?
Yep.
And that really got me going. Now I've said I've completed well over 2,000 goals. It's hard to estimate exactly, but I did kind of put it on paper, and I figured that
Yeah.
well over 2,000 goals have been completed, and small, big, medium, simple, hard, everything, all above, we have completed lots of goals. Even together, you are a part of my goals and my intent with DH Investors to
Yep.
explode that. My
Yeah.
goal this year is to continue with our coaching, right? where
Yes.
where we coach businesses on how to or individuals or investment teams on how to shortcut the process of effectively doing a flip. And that's just one of the goals that I have, and
Sure.
we're gonna be coaching some more people on that and make it happen, and I
Yeah.
work with an action coach that helps me, and you and I coach other people. And the coaching, it is all around goal setting,
Yeah.
and goal completing.
Yeah. I think that's awesome. And and it's it's awesome for, me or anyone listening to hear that even though, you're, doing really well, obviously in the business, but you're also seeking out coaching, right? Seeking out mentors, and you had a business coach that helped you kind of take the next steps and continues to help you take the next steps. That's like a big piece that, I think I really wanted to kind of, make sure people caught that. Like, hey,
Well,
the,
even like in the professional football, kind of going right back to the beginning of our conversation.
yeah,
Some of those players, they get on the field and they're the top 1%, and they don't listen to the coach, and it doesn't work out well for them, right?
true.
Yeah. But when they listen to the coach has been doing it for years and years at that high level, high professional level. And
Oh
if
yeah,
they'll just sink their teeth into everything the coach says and digest it, they'll go far.
that's a fact.
Mhm.
Um, what is for me, it was always I remember coaches used to tell me, if you do it your way and it doesn't work, we're gonna have you on the next flight home, right? But if you do it my way and it doesn't work, right? Now we can start growing together, right? And I was like, okay, makes sense. You put it, you put the instead of blaming, let's grow and work together and figure out how to do it more effectively. And I was like, okay, I can do that. You know what I mean? But you're right. Yeah, it's crucial to have mentors and coaches, and I think it's awesome. I think you recently interviewed your business coach, right?
I did. I did. Kevin is amazing. I'm going to interview him again. We're going to get more ideas and tools
Yeah.
from him. The guy's a treasure trove of a lot of good things for business owners, and
It's
that's
awesome.
what we're looking to do here is help investors and business owners
Yeah.
and people involved in want to grow and have positive cash flow. You
Yeah.
know, that's what we want to achieve here is interviewing
Yeah,
great.
and I'm excited as well for some of the upcoming projects that me and you have coming up too, which is pretty cool. We're completing a couple, and we have a couple coming up too. I'm excited about that. But also the coaching thing, this is going to be fun, man. The getting in and talking shop and helping people hit goals, and that's the part of team growing and developing and with people that I really love. And it's something that I'm obviously passionate about in real estate investing. So it's pretty cool.
Uh-huh. Well, hey, thanks so much, Stanley, for coming on board and sharing this with us today on our
Yeah.
podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder. And it is definitely fun to work hard and then play harder. And I've had some amazing times with you, some challenging times with you, and ultimately we're both helping each other to work hard and play harder and just really enjoy life. And
Yeah,
thank
absolutely. One of these days, I'm going to get you to come to the barbershop with me so we can get you, lined up properly.
I think it looks pretty doggone good.
It looks like you did that at the house by yourself. We got to get you lined in. You got to get lined in. You don't even know what lined in means yet, but we'll get you there. One of these days, we're going to work hard and play harder at the barbershop. Okay, so we can get you lined up, right? You know what I'm saying? So, all right.
Thanks a lot.
I appreciate it. I'll see you shortly. Your whole staff loves me more than you. So
I don't know about that. I
yeah,
don't know
they
about
they,
that. They're
they
kind
love
of
you.
sick of you coming in and prancing around and
Yeah,
talking smack when we're in this professional environment, and then
yeah,
in comes Stanley and talking trash.
yeah. No, it's that's what they say when you come around, but when you're not there, you know what? Never mind. Let me not ruin our synergy that we have. But yeah, man. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited, and yeah, I'll see you on, and hopefully come back on with some updates, project updates, stuff like that in the future.
Sounds great. All right.
All
Hey,
right.
talk to you soon.
Thanks, brother.
That's a wrap for today. Be sure to subscribe and share this with someone who needs it. Check out jakehanes.com for past episodes and other resources. And remember, success favors the bold. So work hard, keep growing, and take control of your cash flow so you can play harder.